These are the last public images of Amber Berbiglia alive, apparently on her way to work. Hours later, this pretty young woman in the prime of her life is found dead, murdered in broad daylight. Her body found lying under a freeway overpass in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
She'd been injured severely and was deceased when we arrived. She was near a vehicle, and there was no witnesses on scene.
At first, cops thought Amber had been shot twice in the head, but the coroner's report soon reveals she actually died from blunt force trauma.
Originally, Horry County detectives thought that she had been shot, but after an autopsy, they came back and said that she had been beaten to death and that it was a pretty brutal murder.
Cops know how she died, but the identity of the killer is still a mystery.
It's just such a confusing situation. It really is, for her to be found dead in the middle of the day on a Friday afternoon, on the side of the street.
Police cordon off the area and scour the muddy clearing where Amber's body was found, looking for clues. But their search comes up empty.
They were looking into every little single piece of evidence there, but the issue is that there wasn't a lot for them to even look for.
So cops turned to Amber's personal life and quickly learned the 23-year-old had a fiancé, a guy she met while studying in London.
And it was like a whirlwind, one of those movie romances.
Jose Soler, a handsome college student from Spain, swept Amber off her feet. Her family loved Jose, and by all accounts, the couple had a fairy tale relationship.
They had the relationship that everybody wishes that they could find. He just loved every bit of her, and you can tell when he looked at her that he saw everything good about her.
After 2 years of dating, the couple got engaged. Her mom shares the early morning phone message with the happy news.
Hey Mom, it's Amber. I just wanted to tell you that I'm getting married.
No way.
I'm engaged. I just wanted to call you and tell you.
And when Amber returns to the States, there's a flurry of pre-wedding activity.
I know that her and my mother and my grandmother had gone shopping for the dress.
Dreams of that white wedding would turn dark. Amber was killed just 6 weeks before she was set to walk down the aisle with Jose.
She was showing her wedding dress off to some friends the night before. The next day she was murdered.
She, was always making jokes, and he just loved every bit of her.
Cops immediately focus on Jose, but it didn't take long to run into a dead end. Jose had an airtight alibi. He was in Europe. At least it's a helpful clue. Cops now trace Amber's steps, just hours before her death. Amber's family claims police showed them surveillance video of Amber paying her cable bill at about 1:30 the afternoon of her murder. Amber's body was found a little more than a mile away, about 2 hours later. Cops wonder if those security cameras in the cable office identify a possible suspect.
They noticed in the cameras at the Time Warner place that the person in line behind her was looking at her kind of in a aggressive manner, I guess.
Police haven't publicly released the surveillance video, but when they track down and question that mystery man, the family says he's cleared. Detectives then pick up Amber's trail to a gas station, where surveillance cameras capture the last released images of her alive. That's Amber wearing black pants, a leopard top, and glasses.
The surveillance footage shows Amber there making a purchase. You see her go up to the counter.
But much to the frustration of cops and Amber's family, nothing comes from that video. The investigation is at a standstill. Then, investigators find other videos.
There may have been two African-American men that she may have had some sort of association with.
Cops seized footage from security cameras mounted all along the highway. Though they're not releasing those videos either, the footage apparently shows Amber's SUV, and cops say she wasn't alone that day.
So they have her, in her car that day, running her errands, and she went off on a side street where there weren't any cameras for like a half hour, all they lost her for, or something like that. And when she came back, into camera view, there was a dark figure in her passenger side. They were never able to identify.
No identity, and also no explanations.
There are a lot of missing pieces in this case. We don't know what she was killed with, what she was doing in that area, who she was with at that time. So a lot of the circumstances around it, those pieces are missing.
The family is frustrated with what they say is a slow investigation. After just 3 months, the strange murder hits the cold case file. We reached out to the Horry County Police Department, but they declined our request for an interview.
I don't think that the investigation ever really took off. I feel like they immediately started, coming up against walls that they, couldn't figure out and gave up too quickly.
And now, 5 years later, still no answers. All Amanda has to hold on to, faded pictures of her beloved sister, who was taken too soon.
I was about 7 and she was about 5 here. And we were getting ready to go to the pool with our colored sunscreen on our faces.
To ease their broken hearts, Amber's family has erected a memorial in her memory. A collection of photos, flowers, and mementos arranged under the freeway overpass where she died.
To come here, I start crying all the way down.
The passing of time marked by holidays that Amber's mother Michelle will endure without her daughter.
And I get here and all I do is just fall apart. God, I miss you so much. I'm trying to be your voice. You did not deserve this.
If you know anything about Amber's murder or remember seeing her the day she died, you should call the Crime Stoppers of South Carolina. That number is 1-800-CRIME-SC. Let's show this killer we are watching. I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.